Guys, I'm going to be checking out a video, and now is kind of crazy for this one, but why Americans love living in Germany. Let's see. Thank you guys for watching. Mad love and respect, and appreciate the support and everything. Like and subscribe as usual. Any suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. Let's check out this video, see what's popping, and why Americans love living in Germany. I've never lived in Germany, but I hope to live there for a little bit one day, God willing. So yeah, let's get right into this video, guys.
Somewhere around 120,000 Americans live in Germany, which is about 5% of all Americans that live outside of the United States. And I was really surprised to learn that behind our geographical neighbors, Mexico and Canada, and the country that we declared independence from, the United Kingdom, Germany has the most American expats in the world.
Wait, so Mexico has that much? There is no way Mexico actually has that much. Wow. That is actually insane. Israel, how? That is insane. But Mexico is... I would actually honestly think that Canada would actually be above Mexico, but wow. Americans are leaving to go to Mexico. That's crazy. I know that Americans go to Mexico for vibes and everything, but to live over there, that's impressive. I like that.
I am one of these expats, and I actually did the math of the guys that I have gotten to know well here in Germany, and around 80% of them have decided to prolong their stay in Germany and live here for at least a couple of years, or decide to live here indefinitely. Guys hating Germany and leaving after one season to never return seems to be the rare exception. And over these years, I've come to the conclusion that in general, Americans love living in Germany.
I forgot, I wanted to ask you about living in Germany. Are you shocked that you're still in Germany after 11 years?
Well, this actually surprises me quite a bit because in the States, sadly, Germany just doesn't have the same reputation that a lot of other European countries have. You always hear about people romanticizing and dreaming about retiring and moving to Italy or the south of France or Portugal.
Or even that's what I'm saying. Like, to mad respect. Listen, I'm not going to hold you, right? Out of every country in Europe, before this whole, me learning about Europe, I would have never dreamt, that Germany would have been a country that I actually have such a high interest in. It was always the UK for me. For crying out loud, it's the only country in Europe that I actually have family, right, that I know of. Or maybe I have family in other European countries, and I don't know, maybe. But the UK is the only country that I guarantee I know I have family there. In Europe only, right? And that's the country in Europe that I'm like, yeah, I would actually live in there. My cousins from bloody the UK always say to me, man, you'd fit well over here, right? Type stuff. So it's the only country. But now as I'm growing and learning, there's this attraction that I have to Germany for some odd reason. I don't know, maybe because I always loved German products without even knowing that they were German. Right? So I don't know. Maybe that's something, I really don't know, but I don't know.
People have a vision of a hut or cottage in Scotland or Ireland. I'm one of those people. But you very rarely hear people romanticizing and dreaming about moving to Germany. Yet, it's the most popular country in Europe for Americans to live in. So in this video, I am going to dive into some reasons that I think why, despite not having a romanticized reputation like some other European countries do, Americans absolutely love living in Germany. So we know that the United States is made up of different immigrant groups from different countries that came over to the States in different waves. Germans came to the United States mostly in the mid to late 1800s and early 1900s. And today, German Americans are actually the largest ethnic group in the United States. There are 43 million Americans, or about 15% of the country, who identify as German American.
Mr. President was actually one of these people, or is actually one of these people. Not the Biden guy.
I am actually one of those people. I did a DNA test, and turns out, as well as my Italian heritage, I am about 1/3 German, with my heritage coming from the Southwest German region, which is kind of cool because I live here now. So there's a lot of German influence and traditions in the USA. Stuff that I didn't even realize until I came here came from Germany. Stuff like kindergartens or most of our Christmas traditions that come from Germany. So I think for a lot of Americans, when coming to Germany, although it is a foreign country and foreign culture, there is this slight level of familiarity here.
Still feels
and I know
like
it's something
home. I
that
get
I
that.
felt when coming to Germany.
I get
Still
that.
kind of feel. It feels like you're visiting your long-lost cousins or something. And I think a lot of Americans share this feeling, especially the 43 million Americans who have German-American heritage. I also remember getting recruited by multiple teams when I was first deciding where to play in Europe, and I talked to some coaches who had coached all throughout Europe, and they said the easiest place for Americans to adapt to in general is Germany. And that actually was kind of influential in
Boy, hey, now, listen to me, man. Like, if you playing with me, brother, we gonna have to scrap. Nah, but for real though, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. That is actually really crazy. That's crazy, man.
my decision to come here in the first place. You know, I'd never been to Europe before. I was a little bit worried about coming to a new continent, a new culture, but hearing that, hey, although it's different, Germany is the easiest for Americans to adapt to, that kind of stuck in my mind and helped me make the decision. So because of Germany's huge influence on a lot of the United States and many Americans having German heritage themselves, there is this foreign yet familiar
You know what I should do? I one day I'm definitely gonna do the ancestry thingy, because I would love to know what, you know, percentage of what I have, because I'm so sure that, dude, if it comes back and I got a little German in me, man, whoo, man, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I'm gonna be smiling if I see a little German in that thing, boy. Like, I ain't lying. Like, I see a little 5%, I'm like, woo, got a little 5% German. Nah, but it's gonna be like an exciting moment. Like he says, like he got like German in him.
Feeling when coming here that a lot of Americans really like. Now, this next point I've been thinking about for quite a long time, and I strongly believe that this has a huge impact on Americans' experiences here in Germany. And nobody ever talks about it. But first, an important message. And on my computers and my phone, especially when I'm accessing Wi-Fi out in public. So guys, if you use the link in my description, you'll get a great deal, 83% off, plus 4 months free. You'll be paying just over €2 a month, plus there's a 45-day money-back guarantee. I highly recommend it. It's something that I use every single day, multiple times a day, and if you guys sign up using the link in the description, not only is it great for you, but it also helps support me and this YouTube channel. So check it out. All right, back to the video. Happiness equals reality minus expectations. So I mentioned it in the intro, but sadly, Germany does not really have the glamorous reputation in the States that other countries do. In fact, Germany is often the butt of the joke in a lot of American media, TV shows, and movies. For example, Laura and I the other day were watching the show Silicon Valley, and there's this weird character, and to make him even weirder and stranger and creepier, they gave him the trait of speaking German in his sleep.
Nicht mehr erzählen! Ranschleichen und in die Kehle aufschlitzen.
So the weird guy, of course, is the guy that speaks German in his sleep. I also think it was an easy move to make Germans the bad guy in a lot of movies, especially in the 20th century.
Good evening, Fräulein.
The bar is closed.
We are not thirsty.
Now, don't even get me started on this guy. This is Dwight Schrute, one of the main characters on the US version of the TV show The Office. He's known for his German heritage and a ton of weird German customs and traditions.
Oh, judgment is nigh, for der Bellschnickel ist I.
In the folklore of southwestern Germany.
Okay, great.
He's the weird guy on the show that you laugh at. And this was the 4th most popular TV show in the US during the 2000s.
Yeah, this thing right here, it's really popular. I'm not a TV guy. I don't watch TV like that. But no matter if you don't watch TV or watch TV, you know that this thing existed.
But there is a positive on this. That means that a lot of times Americans' expectations for Germany are quite low. And we know, of course, the famous mathematical equation that happiness equals your reality minus your expectations. And when you have lower expectations for something, it is easier to be happy and satisfied with something.
That's facts.
And I think Germany does a great job at exceeding a lot of Americans' expectations. For example, I think a lot of Americans expect Germans to be weird, creepy, cold, and unfunny. And then when they come here and find out that is not really the case, they are pleasantly surprised. Oh, Germans are cooler and funnier than I expected them to be. My expectations exceeded. The train system. In the USA, we have an almost non-existent passenger train system. Now, I know the Germans love to complain about their train system, as do I now, actually.
We were just on the train back from Hamburg, and it broke. So the train's canceled. Now we got to find a new train.
But
Tough.
for an American first coming to Germany, just the fact that there are trains available,
Big
being
facts.
able to jump from city to city on train is exceeding our expectations, even though oftentimes nowadays those trains are slow, delayed, and expensive. Let's figure it out, Deutsche Bahn. But
Deutsche
hey,
Bahn.
for the American first coming over here, it exceeds our expectations. Plus points for Germany.
Big facts.
I think another point where Germans exceed Americans' expectations is in speaking English. One of the most common questions I get in the States when people find out that I live in Germany is, oh man, can Germans even speak English? People really are unaware that Germans are very good at English. In fact, 64% of Germans are proficient in English, and that number only serves to increase in the younger generation. And this 64% actually translates to something like 54 million Germans that are proficient in English, which is outright more proficient English speakers than any other country in Europe besides the UK. So it gets kind of annoying and cliche seeing Germans portrayed certain ways in American media, but in a weird way, it actually serves to benefit Germany because it lowers Americans' expectations for the people in the country, and they're often pleasantly surprised when coming here. So, Americans' general lack of expectations for Germany leads us to being pleasantly surprised in many areas of German life when we come here. In the United States, there is no off button. If you want your whole life to be about grinding and work, hey, that's great. But if you want to step back, relax, and recharge, well, that is less of an option in the States. You run the risk of falling behind. And in the USA, a lot of people are unfortunately conditioned to feel like their value as a human being and their identity comes solely from their job. I mean, take a look at the federally mandated vacation days between Germany and the USA. Americans are not legally entitled to any vacation days. It is up to the employer. Now, most employees get somewhere around 10 vacation days a year. Compare that to Germany, where German employers are legally obligated to give their employees 24 paid vacation days a year. Most Germans actually get closer to 30 paid vacation days a year. And don't even get me started on all of the holidays. And I think these numbers tell a pretty interesting story, and that is that in Germany, it is totally an option for your identity to be separate from your job. In America, it is a lot harder to make this distinction. They say this all the time: Americans live to work, where Germans work to live. This really became apparent to me in the last 7 years while playing American football here. You know, most of my teammates and coaches were guys who worked full-time jobs, but they were able to have this whole other identity outside of their work. They were able to be a football coach, or they were able to be a football player. You know, they could take some of their vacation days so that we could go on away game trips or practice camps, and you could really have this identity outside of work. This is not really something that is so common in the States. I think that it would be almost impossible for people that I know working in the States to have a full identity of being a part of a football team for 7 months.
No, but you know what's ironic and funny? Like, he's having this entire conversation about, you know, these people that he has interacted with through football, American football. I never even knew that there was any country in the outside of the US who actually plays American football. I had no idea. And to see that that happens in Germany is insanity.
year and have that be separate from their job. So I just think it's a much more realistic thing in Germany and something that Americans really like. Frankly put, it is simply easier to have a more balanced and comfortable life in Germany than it is in the States. And I think a lot of Americans coming from a hustle culture really find peace in that. All right, guys, so these are some of the reasons.
I agree with you, brother. I agree with it. Like, even the stats where he dropped, like, with the fact that Germans know English like that, and there's so many Americans living in Germany. That is an insane stat. Like, I would never imagine that there's so many Americans living in Germany. I would have never imagined that, right? But it makes sense. It makes sense, you know, like, when one place clicks with you, it's likely gonna click with somebody else of the same type of, you know, category. So it actually does make a lot of sense why the bloody hell Germany is like that, because I'm here and I click with Germany. I literally click with Germany, watching all these Americans in Germany, and it's like, yeah, it makes sense. It actually makes sense. It's realistic, right? But at the end of the day, I think Germany has so much to offer that the US might not offer to certain people, and they'll find it in Germany easily. So at the end of the day, it's kind of wild to actually, you know, say this, but his video right there was all facts, man. It was all facts, and you can clearly see Americans do love Germany. That's crazy. Anyways, man, we out of here. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.